We on? If you're watching this, apologies for the poorer video quality. I had to steal this camera to get this made. This video hasn't been sanctioned by news agencies or authorities, but I'll do whatever I can to get this message out to anyone who will listen. Right. I've decided to start by coming out to the very outskirts of the border, where the government don't yet control the land. There's an area between the city and the walls called no man's land. I know that people live here. I want to meet these people and get their opinions and views and see how the Rehabilitation Act has impacted them. Hello there. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions?
Who the hell are you?
My name's Justin Truman. I'm creating a documentary on the impact of the Rehabilitation Act.
I see.
Maybe we could start by talking about yourself. What you're doing here.
I suppose I can do that. And to answer your question, I'm here to avoid the alternative.
That being?
Part of the system. Under my leg, I'd be in trouble. Plus, I'd like to have some capacity of control in this world.
So what did you used to do?
I used to be a soldier. One of the last, I suppose. I fought for my country overseas just before the closure of the borders, and then for the government back home when they brought the remaining armed forces. I was ordered to stem the riots, then was injured, then discarded.
You couldn't find another job?
I tried to join the new enforcer squads, but they wouldn't take me. All the other jobs too. So I quickly became the person I was tasked to combat. I was supposed to be given a pension, but that was taken to fund the other, more important industries taken over.
So you were left with nothing?
Indeed.
What if I told you that the government plans to expand further? To completely industrialise this area? What would you do next?
Is that true?
I'm afraid so. You don't have to do this.
The government made us this way, and they are not going to change us. You asked what I would do. Perhaps the only thing left is to send them a message.
Please don't do this. No, don't do this.
No!
Unfortunately, I'm not having much luck at this point. The walls, which I'm being told now line the entire country and sit some ways behind me there, are now no longer accessible. These fences, accompanied by a strong military presence, are keeping us so far back we can now no longer even see the walls. What I can see, however, is a line of people queued up for what seems like miles trying to get through the border control checkpoint.
A recap for those who don't know, or who are sheltered from the truth. The collapse of the country's infrastructure in 2025, the government used its last resources to create a self-contained environment, looking after itself. Soon after, the borders were closed for good. No one was allowed in or out without adequate justification. With all employment needing to be deemed useful to the country, most jobs were swapped, and many industries and companies go under. This system was designed to also increase productivity, but with people rushing to collect the jobs available, there is in fact an increase in homelessness. Fear rises and riots ensue. The country nearly collapses again. But from that chaos came a hero. A new political party, specialising in healthcare and drug applications, gained major popularity. They managed to support and sustain, and everything seems to level out, with the exception of homelessness. But they say they have the solution. The Rehabilitation Act is created. A drug is given to the homeless and people needing benefits, but the payoff is great. This drug wipes their brains. A reset to factory settings. They are then given homes and supplies. No pay is required. The perfect system. But the people struggling to keep their jobs then become prime candidates for the act themselves. The government deny that this system will continue, but with people in fear of losing their minds, looking after themselves and a few resistance fighters hiding in the shadows, I've decided to highlight these issues to show the world what is really happening. This documentary may never see the light, but I have to try, as no one else will. After experiencing what people will do when pushed to the very limits, I've decided to kick this off by speaking to someone who's close to breaking point, to see what options are available to them and how they are trying to fight and survive.
Ryan, go and see where the delivery's got to. They should have been here an hour ago. Justin.
Yes. Thank you for meeting me. People haven't been very forthcoming when discussing this issue.
Well, it's getting desperate not to, really. And I've had just about enough of this. If anything I can say can help the future in any way, I'm ready.
Why don't we start by talking about what you do here?
Yeah, sure. Do you mind if we walk and talk? That's fine. I work here, well, for now anyway, building supplies to help further this bloody state. Although I didn't have much say in the matter, really. I used to have a managerial post in a retail outlet, but now I'm just a grunt again. Apparently, my managerial post, my status from before, was the only reason I got this job.
Do you mind if I ask how much you earn?
Oh, not enough. Not anymore. I'm pulling in extra shifts and working every day of the week now just to keep a roof over my head. Not that I get to see it very often. And now with another price rise due, I don't think I'll hold it together much longer.
Well, surely it's illegal to be out working this many hours.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. But I don't think anyone cares about that anymore. My bosses would be happy to see me go, to save the money. You see the few people around us?
Yeah.
Well, we're the last of the normals here. Apart from the managerial staff, of course. The vast majority of the workforce are recycled individuals. They don't have to come in at the weekends and work through. It'd freak me out, if I'm honest, through the rest of the week.
I had no idea there were so many recycled people in one workforce.
Oh, yeah. Just one or two in every place to help out, yeah? They said it would never get so bad again, right? No, think again. I think this is just the beginning. They have taken everything away from me, and I think they're just going to keep moving on, person to person.
You seem quite bitter about the act.
Damn right I am. Look, I admit I was never the most motivated of people when I was young, but I always worked hard for my family when I needed to protect them. My mother was ill and couldn't work, but the government stopped certain benefits, including hers. I could look after us both before, but now...
What happened?
My mother was put on the list. I had to make a choice. It was her or both of us. I let them take her away to be recycled. I wasn't strong enough. And I killed her, in a way. And now, by the time this goes out, if it does, I'll be gone too, probably.
So you were forced to abandon your own mother?
Yes. They don't care about people, just numbers and control. I've come to realise that, in the end, they take away everything you have and everything you are. The question is, what does that make me? Falling into line so easily.
And you didn't do anything about it?
No. And that's the problem. I should have done more. I should have done something different. I mean, yeah. I didn't pull the trigger. But I let the weapon of fear get to me. And look where I am. I'm alone and living each day as if it could be my last.
So what happens next for you?
At the moment, I couldn't give a toss. But I've been thinking, crime may be the only option for me at this point.
You do realise if you're caught, you'd be recycled like the rest of them.
I'll be recycled anyway, so I've got nothing to lose.
So you're willing to steal from people? People like yourself? To protect yourself?
Yes, I am.
And you'd be willing to hurt them? To kill, if you had to? You'd be okay with that?
I don't care anymore. I'll do what I have to at this point. And I'll tell you something. Other people will be doing the same soon, if they're not already. People will do what they have to survive. Look, don't get me wrong. I know I could have done more with my life. But that doesn't mean that the life I have now should be taken away from me. I'll do whatever I have to keep it for as long as I can.
I've now come to the home of someone who's lost their job and is looking to get back in before it's too late. She becomes another number. You may find this distressing.
Could you give me some information on your situation right now?
Yes. I used to work in an office. Nothing special, but progressive, and I worked hard. But 6 months ago, I suffered a breakdown and found it hard to keep working. I've been building up and trying to become myself again, but it's tough.
It's okay. Take your time. Tell me when you're ready.
I had some letters written to send to the local council to find out what benefits were available for someone in my position. I knew that there were a few, other than the recycling programme for people like me. But after a series of calls and letters, I kept getting rejected. They kept saying that I should try the other benefits because the one that they offered wasn't applicable to me. The first said that I was actually fit to work, but I can't. And after struggling to get an interview to try and sort it all out, they said that I was too ill and had to try WSA. So I did just that.
And what did they say?
They said that because my status hadn't changed, that I couldn't get it. And the best thing was to look into the employment support systems for those lucky enough to get work before the recycling stage. But these had all pretty much gone now, so the only other option was to go back to the original benefit system.
I can see where this is going.
Yes. I kept going round and round in circle, pleading with each one to help me out, but no one would. They kept sending me across. It's been this way for months.
So you were deemed mentally ill by the state, yet still fit for work. They took away all of your options but one. To have this problem removed. And place you back in the workforce.
Well, yes. It's become impossible to go back to the normal way. Only those strongest and fittest are allowed back in as they are. And even that's rare. I was eventually told that the programme was the only option for me. That it would, in their words, give me my life back. I don't see it that way. They're going to take everything.
What will you do now?
I don't know. I'm so frightened. I can't run away. I'm not well enough. Trapped in my own house. But I can see now, looking back on the whole process, all the letters and the calls, they were just to waste time so that the real plan could take place.
And what's that?
To further the system. To put me in the only programme available. They want this to happen. To many people. It's all set up. To say that they'll help you out and keep it all friendly until it's too late.
Police enforcement, open the door.
Oh my God. Please, please, you have to help me. Please, I'm not ready.
You. I'm here to take you away under legislation 34B, which states you're to be processed as part of the Rehabilitation Act to, what the fuck is this?
We're making a film. Please, give this lady a chance. She deserves a chance.
Shut up. My orders are clear. It's the law. And I'm fully within my right. Come on.
No, please, no,
It's
you
all
don't-
right.
You don't understand.
It's
No,
all
I'm
going
not
to be
well.
all right. It's going to be all right. It's going to be all right.
You can't do this.
No.
This lady is ill.
Stand up. Take her away. Oh, no. Take this as a warning, sunshine. Stop what you're doing. Or this won't end well for you.
I'm visiting one of the people who has undergone the process of recycling, to see what they feel and think, and to get some insight into how these people operate under the effects of XRB 26.
Come in. Kitchen. Living area. Restroom.
Let's get this interview underway. Can you state your name for the camera, please?
I'm Abby, 250032B.
And your last name, please?
I just told you my last name.
That's not a name, that's a series of numbers and letters.
Yes.
Okay. Talk me through an average day.
I go to work and then go home.
That's it?
I eat and drink when required and sleep for 8 hours a night.
And there's anything else?
I don't think so. No.
So you do only what you need to do to live?
What else is there?
You have spare time, I know. You have any hobbies or interests?
I don't get your meaning. When I'm not working, eating or resting, I wait.
For what?
To work, eat and rest. I conserve my energy.
So you're telling me that when you're not working, you spend the rest of your time sitting in this chair?
Yes. Perhaps I'll put the telly on.
Well, that's something. What do you watch?
Whatever is on. Doesn't matter.
This is your life. Are you happy with this?
Yes. I suppose I just do it. What else is there?
Something, anything. You have the luxury of free time, and you don't do anything.
I don't need to do anything else. There is no meaning to anything else.
I think I'm getting the picture here. And I think I know the answer to this question. What do you think of the system that's been put in place?
I don't get the meaning.
You had your life. Everything taken away from you. You work for nothing. And you spend the rest of your time doing nothing. Is there nothing left of what you were?
I'm Abby, 250032B.
No. I did some research. Your name is Jessica Dawson. And you worked in IT before you lost your job.
I work now too.
You had a family. They were recycled because you couldn't support them. And your husband, Mark, he lived just over there. Perhaps you could meet him. Spark some memories.
I don't visit people. There's no need for that. I work and help the country. That is all that matters.
You really have no recollection of what you had, of who you were.
I don't get the meaning.
These people now seem to be at the centre of the workforce, eventually driving others out of jobs and forcing their hands into the same state as themselves. After seeing what really happens to these poor people, I thought it was time to make a move right to the source of the problem, the drug itself, to see why this has been put in place, and if those involved in the production care about what they've done.
So you're in charge of the creation of this drug, XRB-26?
I am indeed. I was there from an early developmental stage through to its completion. I had created the product some time ago as a prototype and got the funding through the government's new health schemes.
So can you tell me a little bit about how the drug works?
Well, Exelon Rehabutanate is a final creation of the last of the drug industries and myself being brought together to create a solution capable of curing nearly all diseases and saving many lives in the process. at no cost to the civilian populace, I might add, and affording people a chance to give something back to the community.
Are you talking about robbing people of their minds? Making them slaves to the likes of you?
No, not at all. You shouldn't think of it like that. It aids people being more than they once were. We give help to the homeless, to those in dire need. How many people can claim that they have answered the question that has plagued mankind for so long? Using XRB 26, we can be whole again.
I'm sorry, but you created a drug. A drug that could solve world problems, and you added an extra element. An element of control. So that you can't have one without the other. An impossible compromise. That's what you've done. You've taken people's lives away. Made them lesser people.
They are not lesser people, not anymore. Before they were on the streets stealing, killing others to live another day. Now they work giving back to the country, healthy and safe. Unfortunately, the mind wiping is a side effect I haven't been able to remove. It seems we can't have one without the other.
But that's no excuse. You put this into action.
No, I've had enough of this. I created a drug that fixes all problems in the world. We were on the brink of destruction, and I saved it. Which do you think is really worse? Before, when people were killing each other in desperate times, or now? Think on it before you pass judgment on me.
You're responsible. Plain and simple. The government designed this and you put it into action. This drug that you created, isn't it coincidental that you can't find a way of removing that element of control?
I'm not going to put up with this any longer. I'm not going to comment any...
Come on! Free labour. One of society's greatest issues, solved by this little drug, so that people in their high castle can ride the wave of success while you sit here with your empire, manipulating the weak and the poor.
I'm sorry, I have no further comment on this matter. This interview is over. I'm a very busy man, so if you would please leave...
Oh, come on! Can't you see that this is wrong? What about the moral issues of robbing people of their minds? I've got one last question for you, Professor. This drug, is it safe? The drug that you make people take?
Just to clarify, we don't make people take it, and yes, XRB-26 is totally safe. It has no side effects and is harmless to all that decide to take it. Okay?
Could you start by giving your name to the camera, please?
David. My name's David.
Thank you, David. It's great to meet you. I'd like to ask you a few questions, would you mind?
Okay.
How old are you?
I'm 16.
Do you go to school?
Not anymore. Mum looks after me. But I like it here. It's nice.
That's good. That's really good. What do you do at home?
I can't walk anymore. But I like to look out the window.
How did this happen? Why were you sent to be recycled in the first place?
They got the wrong person. They wanted a different David.
And they didn't tell you why the drug didn't work?
They said too
many drugs, and they got the wrong person.
How does your family cope now?
Mum finds it hard. Dad, she said he died in the riots, but he left us some money. But the money and time are running out.
You seem like a smart boy, David. What do you think of all of this that's happening around us?
Sad. I wish people would just get along. But they're so nasty to each other, and that makes me sad. Sad.
And your mum?
She looks after me, but I wish we could escape. Like on a plane.
You like planes?
I like airplanes. They can go places we can't. But I don't see them up there anymore. They don't fly, only in pictures. There's no more lights in the sky.
David, what do you mean by that?
Daytime and nighttime. We don't look up there anymore, and they don't look down at what we've become, and that's sad. Sad.
After seeing a child so solitary, so alone, but also so connected with the world around him, it may be time to see the effect the act is having on our young. How they're growing up into this industry-led system, and how restricted they may be.
I'm here at an undisclosed location to protect the identity of this man. For the camera, can you please tell me what you do?
I'm a teacher. I'm using that title as a loose term now. I'm aiding children from the age of 7 to 14 in their studies at the moment.
Well, it's a very noble job. But you were telling me off camera that you're not entirely happy with the content of your teaching.
No, I'm not. The content has been changing from what you would expect to more radicalised content. We don't even get most of the basics done anymore.
So what kind of things are you referring to?
We're telling our youngsters of the benefits of repeated work. We're teaching more woodwork and metals when these children should be learning the arts and Shakespeare. But that's blasphemy now. We don't even do maths, English and science as main subjects now. The government don't care that this isn't being taught as much. They're preparing students not to need it anyway, so why waste the time? And our political syllabus, it's just insane.
So what does this mean for them?
I'm afraid it means that they're becoming mini versions of the recycled people that we're seeing more and more of day by day. I think the government have been working on this as a secondary plan to create a slave workforce to get them brainwashed and in the right manner so they'll be more compliant and ready to manufacture. And more importantly, they won't have their own thoughts and make their own choices. This is a factory of drones, preparing drones to become processed meat to perpetuate the cycle and keep people in their positions.
You mentioned the political syllabus. Could you tell me more about that?
Yeah. Our children are being taught about the benefits of self-containment over foreign distribution, of how the government policies are furthering the contributions of the country, and also that the act of recycling is a good thing for the economy. It helps the country's productivity.
Wow. So not only is this inherently wrong, but these ideas, I mean, it's incredible that a child would be able to grasp them. I'm surprised they can even learn it.
That's why we repeat it. You should see it. We have lines, endless lines of students in massive, bare, white-walled assembly halls, speaking the tones that we also state again and again. If they're not working physically to prepare for the manual labour to come, they're learning for hours on end until the messages have sunk in.
How many other teachers feel the same as you?
Honestly, I don't know. No one talks of it. They're fearful of the consequences. And I'm not sure to how many of them the constant repeating has also taken effect.
What if a child was to try and learn something for themselves? Or if they disagreed with something, or they didn't understand the teaching?
XRB 26 works well on children too. It allows the student to focus and become a perfect vessel for the future. Add a little reminder, punishment to the others.
You can't be serious.
It's rare, granted, but it has happened. Most of the time the threat of detention still works well, and that's because it's run like a bloody concentration camp. But sometimes, those few children who don't behave the way they should turn up one day and...
Have we really come this far? These children have the right to learn and explore and grow. I've got one more question for you. If you could do anything to help, would you?
What I would really like to do is get some of the children some old school books, take them away for private tuition, and get them thinking about what we used to have in the past. Turn them into thinking people, free of the constraints this world has. To get them to stand up and make a change. But I wouldn't want to risk their lives at this point, such as they are. I'm not sure if it would make things better or worse.
Is there anything else you'd like to say?
Yeah. I want to help you. You seem different to the others. But not on camera.
Okay. Let's talk. I've just had a private conversation with the teacher, and while he doesn't want to be involved with the resisting, he's offered to put me in touch with people who know the freedom fighters intent on bringing the system down. I never planned for this, but I'd like to take the opportunity to talk to them. The risk is high, but it's a chance I have to take.
Hang back. We're here for the documentary. We've arranged a meeting with your boss. Can you take us to him?
Take him.
You the Colonel? I want to ask you some questions about the Act and how you feel towards...
I know why you're here. But what are your views on this country before I tell you mine?
I want to expose the truth and give a balanced view about what's happening.
That's not what I asked you.
Please, I'm here to ask you.
Just answer the question. What are your views on this country and what do you believe in?
I believe that what's happening here is wrong. And that's why we're making the documentary.
I don't believe you.
Look. You know what they'd do if they found me here? I'm taking as big a risk as you are. If they caught us, we'd be recycled.
Wait. Now we need to get our message out there. And you're gonna do it. Okay?
I'm here at a secret location to speak to the leader of a resistance force who's taking matters into his own hands. I want to see how far this man will go to fight the oppression that surrounds us. Let's begin with your thoughts and feelings on the Rehabilitation Act.
Well, isn't that obvious? Huh? See, we have all come to hate this country and anyone involved in the corruption that surrounds us. We've all lost people to the Act. Friends, family have been killed or recycled. So we dedicate our time in fighting for freedom and defeating those who have taken so many from us.
So what would you say to those who believe that what the government is doing is protecting you from outside interference?
Bullshit. It's bullshit! How can taking away people's humanity be good for the people? Eh? It's only good for those that are safe from it or those that have turned people into slaves for their own selfish fucking needs. We live in a fear-driven state. People divided by people, even fucking families are separated. We aim to unify the people.
How do you intend to do that? Considering, as you say, the government controls nearly everything.
I don't know. But we have been successful in recruiting people and bringing them in from the major areas. The more pressure you put on people, and when they start thinking that it could be the last choice they ever make, of course they want out, of course they want to join us. We aim in freeing them from this mental imprisonment.
How many of you are there now?
I can't tell you that. But I can and will tell you this. Is that thing on me? Is that on me? We are bigger than you think, believe me. We are everywhere, and we are closer than you think. In a short time, the people will stand up for themselves. And why? Because they've been pushed too far. The system will destroy itself, and we will be there to see it happen. Believe me. Right, that's enough. We've said enough. We've got our message across. Let's go.
I feel now that I'm approaching the end, and there are just a few more elements left to explore. I've contacted a rich businesswoman under the assumption of getting a tour of her home and revealing the ins and outs of her life, but I'm hoping to gain insight to more.
Hello, come in. So, this is actually the smaller of my houses, but it's one of my favourites because of the location. There's a lot of nature and parks about, and some very nice people too.
Did you say one of your houses?
Yes, I can't have a mansion or anything due to the buildings and spaces needed for the rehousing and industrial aspects. But I have a few properties to call on when needed. I tend to travel a lot, so it comes in handy.
You seem to live a pretty comfortable life. What is it you do?
I'm retired now. I used to be a CEO of a very successful marketing firm. I sold the business to the government and haven't done much since.
And you live here alone?
Yes, I'm not married. Never had the time, really. I've been too busy.
Owning several houses that you can't be in at the same time?
Let's take a seat, shall we? What are you actually after here?
I want to see how you live compared to others that I've met so far. I want to find out exactly where those class boundaries lie, since the government have put their plans in place. I've met many people so far, but no one quite like you. I wonder if you really know what's happening out there. Hoping you could enlighten me.
Okay.
So what do you think about what the government have been doing?
Honestly, I hadn't thought about it. Didn't need to.
Really?
What do you expect me to say? I pay my bills like everyone else. I'm doing what I'm meant to do.
But not everyone can pay their bills. Don't you know what's happening out there?
Of course I do.
What, and you just don't care?
Not really. We all have our place. At least those being recycled are given a home.
At the expense of their mind and their freedom. You have the money and power to be able to do something about it. Doesn't that faze you?
There's always been a class system, hasn't there? How does me giving away my money to everyone else help?
So people can hold on to who they are. You're just hiding behind money instead of helping others.
I earned it. Why shouldn't I?
All right. Let's think of it this way. What if the roles were reversed? What if you were like everyone else out there? How would you feel then?
I have the luxury of not having to think about that. I have created a position for myself where I can be free of all the cares in this country. I can live without fear. Is that so wrong? Let's get one thing straight. I don't care about them. Okay, I care about myself. Besides, we're stable again, aren't we?
Yes, but people have lost their minds and their humanity. You talk about living a life of luxury. Sure, you're a successful businesswoman. You've made a lot of money and you've had a good career. But what have you got to show for it? You live in this house alone. Do you have any children?
No, I haven't.
Well, this is the truth then. Because I've met many people. People that have lived a lot less than you, but have got a lot more to show for it. You have everything. And you have a chance to make a difference. But you choose not to. Really, you've got nothing to show for yourself. You wanted to know why I came here today. I wanted to know if you really know what's going on out there. And your lack of institutionalised caring really suggests that you don't. And I think I've seen enough.
I visited a few others who didn't want to be filmed. Some seemed to not know of the issues going on. Most didn't seem to care when I told them. They were happy with this world. Sometimes I wonder how people can go through life like this, considering others have paid the ultimate price. Then again, on the other hand, who am I to say? People want to choose to have routine, to have a life that never changes. It's all sort of an illusion. And perhaps living in this fictional world is better than the horrible reality we really face.
Right. I think I have everything I need. And I just want to put some of my final thoughts on the record before we move to the last part of this journey. I keep thinking back to what that young man David said. No more lights in the sky. I think now I know he had a deeper meaning. And I recall that phrase that when people die, another star shines in the heavens. Maybe we no longer earn our right to go to a higher place because we've lost something within ourselves. Whether that's a soul, I wouldn't presume to understand. And maybe David didn't mean this at all, but it resonates with me. It's not just the recycled people who have lost something. The rich. They hide behind their power and their wealth. And they're never going to give that up because it gives them a false sense of freedom. Because we live in a society designed to benefit them, to give them a platform to stand and tower above us. Even the human race can be produced and packaged, along with everything else. History is repeating itself. And I feel we've come full circle. Because we no longer see the human race as a life. And I feel we're coming to the end. everything I've recorded and collected so far, I've sent to a safe place, to someone I trust. Because I've arranged a meeting with a high-ranking official. Now I've tried time and time again, and I've been rejected every time, until now, I finally got through. This is my chance to expose the truth. But I know it could go badly. And if it does, I know someone else out there can complete this journey for me and finish my story. We won't know until tomorrow. So until then, goodbye.
Hello again. Please, sit down.
Thank you for agreeing to meet me on camera and to discuss the issues of this documentary.
Not at all. I'm hoping to offer a more nuanced version of whatever it is you think is going on. At the moment, I imagine it's all quite black and white.
I have a few questions I'd like to ask you.
Fire away.
Maybe we could start with you outlining the Rehabilitation Act in your own words.
Well, the original Rehabilitation Act was designed to create a fair and equal working environment for everyone. Everybody would get a roof over their head, food, all the requisites of life. We knew there'd be a price to pay for that, but we thought it was worth it, especially when you consider the catastrophic alternatives. Now, don't get me wrong. I do feel for those you call the recycled. But isn't it better to have a world free of violence and anger and hate?
So you think robbing people of their minds is the right course of action?
Was it so wonderful before? Rioting, destruction on a scale never seen before. We were at breaking point, but we chose to side with the people. Now, you may believe that or you may not, as you choose, but think about it. What is best for us? Once we reach equilibrium, once everybody is decently housed, has a decent job, once the emergency is over, then we'll have a united country.
Once everyone's recycled, you mean?
Well, not everyone. But some people have to be recycled for the system to work. So it's not as if we're setting out to reign over anybody.
I beg to differ.
Yeah, well, we'll just have to agree to disagree. As we see it, we're looking after your needs and protecting your country.
So if the people deemed it fair, let's say your son was to be recycled, a man as distinguished as yourself would make the ultimate sacrifice for the good of the country.
I make it a point never to comment on individual cases. And I really see no reason to descend into the personal like this.
And I beg to differ, Chief Marshal. Because there are people out there. People that are oppressed. And I see no impact for people like you.
You know, you're right. I'm really going to have to rethink this entire program.
Glad I could change your mind.
No, you don't understand. It's not working. The drug, it's not working properly.
What do you mean?
You wanted your exclusive. You wanted to see how high up this went. You're talking to the right man. Years ago, at the height of the riots, we had to get a lot of people off the street, rioters, foreign nationals, agitators. But what to do with them? We needed a level board, and the prison system had collapsed. And then we thought, why not get the drug companies involved to help those who needed to help themselves get over their anger and their bitterness? And we started a political movement. And the supporters came, and the rich donors came. Of course they did. We were offering them a miracle. And we delivered on that miracle. We stopped the riots. We saved the nation.
What's this got to do with detaining people?
Never rush a good story, Justin. You see, we had control, but we knew it couldn't last very long. We just couldn't reach everybody. And then they invented XRB. And both sides of my plans came together so beautifully. And even better, we made it optional. It was brilliant. I mean, who wouldn't swallow a pill to have a better life? Only we needed to test it.
The people you detained?
Yes. Many died. Many more were incapacitated. Side effects. But we got there in the end. We put a lot of people back into circulation. The first of the recycled. No, most of them were only good for factory fodder, but some retained enough intelligence to man some very interesting positions.
What do you mean?
You want to know how high up all this goes? The answer is higher than you'll ever know. Once we perfect XRB-27, we'll be able to recycle as many people as we like. We'll have control of industry, the law, universities. And I have you to thank for all of that, Justin. I really couldn't have done it without you.
What are you talking about?
Did you never wonder why we allowed you to keep this rebellious streak, Justin? Reason is, you're my greatest test. Your reaction to the drug when we captured you was off the scale. But those people out there, those poor wretches you're interviewing, you think you're different to them. You're not. You're exactly the same. The only thing is, I think there's something wrong with the formulation. Or maybe with his dosage. If he can regain free will, what happens if other people regain themselves?
Don't even think about it, you little bitch.
You see, Justin, with your interesting medical condition and this little film you've been making, it will be a great help to us in the next stage of our experiments.
You don't have the footage. I left it with someone I trust. You'll never get it.
You're right. But there is someone else who knows where you stored it.
You.
You see, I needed someone to catalogue your adventures out there in the wild, as it were. Who better to follow your journey and keep me in the loop?
You bastard.
Well, there's no need for bad language, Justin. I think we're finished here, Captain. Make it quick.
Justin, you're still alive. Good. The boss sent us to get you and your data. We need to show the people the truth. We need to wake them up as you have. And we'll take this piece of crap too. Might be useful. Hey. Take him away.
My name is Nick Richardson, and I'm the elected president of the United Citizenry Initiative. To start with, I'd like to thank you for bringing me this footage and highlighting an issue that we, as a global collaboration, have frankly ignored for far too long. After watching this film, I am, as to say, shocked as to the state of this country and to the people that have been turned into zombies for someone else's benefit. We were told from various officials acting on behalf of the Chief Marshal that there had been a re-establishment and a stabilization of the country after a near collapse of the past, and that we should leave alone as not to break the equilibrium that's been created. That we, on the outside, did not check in and leave them to their own devices and to make sure they were safe is just another problem of humanity that we need to rectify. May I take this opportunity to formally apologize on behalf of those that needed us in their own time of need. And I make a promise to you that I will do as best as I can to stop this from continuing. I'm not saying that the past events of this country were not bad, as it was dire for everyone, but to change so dramatically and removing those elements that make you human was just not the way to go. I'm not just talking about the recycled. I'm talking about other elements such as the arts and anything non-industry in the beginning. It just seems that this whole thing, even if the first failing government did not want it to happen, was an evolution of erasing everything we need to be who we are. Or in the case of the recycled, who they have the right to be. But this, as we can clearly see, was never about saving the country. It was about controlling them. And this so-called drug, XRB26, and all of its variations is just horrific. Do I believe the brain wiping was a side effect? No, I do not. But desperate people who are deliberately pushed to the very limits of what we can do will do anything they can to survive, as we have seen. And as much as I would like to look at the rejuvenation aspect of the drug, I'm not convinced that it will breed a similar scenario to what we saw in Operation Paperclip after World War II. Perhaps it is best that it is destroyed and forgotten, much like the events of this government, and we start anew. In order to do this, we in the UCI are now turning our attention to the perpetrators of these crimes, and we will be giving all the recycled the support needed to make sure that they are free once more. And we will fight those on the outside preventing us from going in. It's been clear they've been lying to us about what's been going on in the past, and with this new information in mind, I will not rest until they've been brought to justice.
This is total nonsense. There is nothing like this going on at all. This is clearly an attempt by another party to destabilise the country and drag us back to the Stone Age, after we have fought so hard to bring us back from the brink. I have personally seen all of the good that we have done for the people, after all of the violence so nearly destroyed everything. Yes, it is true that resources like the arts have been set back in favour of industry. But this is merely a means to an end, to get us into a survivable position so that we can then bring these elements back in the future. The items being discussed in this film, camps for children and slave work forces, are lies and propaganda, with one sole intent: to tarnish all of the good that we have done for this great state and our good people. From the reports I'm receiving, I do now believe there is a resistance movement lurking in the background. The Chief Marshal hinted at such. But this resistance movement is not to fight supposed oppression, but so that they themselves can seize power. These terrorists, they are the ones responsible for this fake documentary, and the people in it are actors who are helping them achieve their goals. Many have said that the Chief Marshal in the video is a good look-alike. But after no word from him for so long, I believe that is indeed the Chief Marshal. But doing this under duress. We're doing everything we can to find him and bring him home. Also, the representation of Professor Marcus Redding, also fake. I have met the man, and that is not him. That is another actor helping the terrorists. So why don't we let you in? That's what you want to know. This may not make sense to you, but we want to handle this ourselves. We are providing you with the information and proof you need that all is well with our great state and our strong people. We need your trust and faith to allow us to rectify the problems of our past. To show that we can operate the perfect system of survival. This one film and the awful abduction of the Chief Marshal, it could damage all. But make no mistake, we will fight. And we will be victorious. I will make sure that you're kept informed with all of the facts. I'm sending you a link to a top filmmaker who knows the truth regarding this footage and will refute these lies once and for all.
So I reviewed this film, and in my professional opinion, I believe that it is fake. There are many elements to support this, which I will highlight for you now. The first being the element of the skipping effect that we see throughout this film. And I find it rather coincidental that it mainly happens during the beginning and then at the end, rather than throughout the main body of the film. And I believe that this is down to the filmmakers needing reshoots at the beginning, where they are trying to hook you into this fake narrative that they want you to believe, and then as well at the end, where they need it to look like the Chief Marshal is doing as he is told. Also, if I can bring your attention to the scene where the camera operator is shot. Now, as you can see, the Chief Marshal's arms, it changes position too rapidly during this skipping effect, and I believe that this is down to a continuity error of the filmmakers, where what they have done is they have spliced two separate shots together and then purposely added in the skipping effect in order to try and mask that and give you the illusion that it's one continuous take, when in actual fact I can tell that it is not. And this leads me to believe that it is manufactured rather than it being a genuine capture of reality of what's going on around them now. It may very well be real shots and real setups, but I don't believe so. I believe that this is fabricated in order to tell a fake narrative. Also, if I can bring your attention to the point of the pixelation that we see during the film. Now that would be a cue for many people to say, well, they have pixelated it in order to hide the violence, hide the gore, hide the brutality, but I find this a rather strange excuse. What I believe has happened is they have purposely put this pixelation effect in order to hide not the violence, but the fact that there was no violence and there were no injuries incurred on this shoot. Also, the issue of the resistance members all being masked by external factors and the meeting of the Chief Marshal. These are all internal factors which wouldn't need to be hidden on camera. It doesn't make any sense to me. So for those reasons I believe that this is a fake documentary. So overall, in my professional opinion, this is not real.
This was all real. Every bit of it. I do not mind telling you this, but you are misunderstanding what has been going on. We were in a dire situation, and I was given an opportunity to save everyone. I was proud to be a part of this, to give life back to those in need, to save the people, no matter what the cost. We weren't bad people. We were working for the common good. I'm sorry that those people had their minds taken. I truly am. But I would do it all over again if the same situation arose. XRB 26 gave people health. Is that not a good thing? People were dying. I'm not afraid to stand up and be counted for this. What you have heard is true. The country was destroying itself and we had to do something. And now, this bloody film will destroy it all. It's already started. The people fighting back, the recycled regaining their minds. Many see this as a good thing. But look at it, really look what we are as a species. Are we really better in this state? Or recycled? Look, I get that you see this as the few overruling the many, but surely you can see that people are designed to conflict. It's written in our DNA. It's in our nature to destruct. We had finally found peace with the dawning of this new order, and we needed some people to make sure that they were kept safe. It is really not what you are thinking. Humanity is a curse, a problem that we could fix no longer. And what's happening now, you ask? Everything is starting to come undone. After the film was released to as many people in the country as possible, it sparked a small uprising. The resistance fought hard. I had to get out. I decided to get out whilst I could, but was detained at the other end by those who came with me. Betrayed! Get off! And now, they're trying me for crimes against humanity? Fools! I could have been your saviour. I am a good person and I was fighting for your health. To survive, sacrifices must be made. Don't you see that? I was helping you. I was helping you. It's not too late.
We have recently been leaked some of the first recordings to be sent by Datalink out of the area for many years now. We are not sure exactly how this has happened at this time, and much like the authenticity of the controversial Justin Truman film, this footage has still to be confirmed as real. In related news, the whereabouts of Justin, if he does exist, are still a mystery. But wherever he is, we are sure he will be fighting for those within the confines of the walls as they continue to fight for their own freedom.